Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third episode of Midnight Disnerd, the podcast where we have midnight discussions on our favorite movies. I'm your host, Mary.
And I'm Cassie. Get ready to fly back to the land of Oz and dive into the world of Wicked Part 1.
Sorry, I forgot about that. The banner was up.
Oh, yeah.
Oops.
Do you want to start over?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Wicked Part 1 is based on the Broadway show back in 2005 by Winnie Holzman, wrote the musical, and then Stephen Schwartz wrote the music for it, and then John Chu, the marvelous John Chu, wrote the musical into a movie.
The story follows a young witch named Elphaba, portrayed by Cynthia Erivo, who learns how to harness her special powers like never before.
Along her journey, Elphaba encounters several memorable characters. Fiyero is known as Jonathan Bailey. Glinda the Good is portrayed by Ariana Grande. And Bach, played by Ethan Slater, Madame Marble, Michelle Yeoh, and the wizard Jeff Goldblum and her sister Nessa Rose Mercer Bodie. Together, they form friendships and take a journey to the Emerald City to face the wizard.
Stay tuned as we discuss our thoughts on Part 1 and provide some fun facts you may not already know. And if you haven't seen the movie yet, please pause here and return once you have watched it, as there will be spoilers.
Yes, as Cassie mentioned, please pause now if you guys have not seen it, because Cassie and I actually got the privilege to see it twice before we're filming it, right?
Yep.
Okay. And I actually saw it before Cassie, which is a fun fact. Not really. Where do you want to start?
Should we just go through
the songs probably?
Yeah, we can break it down by song because basically each scene is a song. So
I would say let's start with No One Mourns the Wicked.
No One Mourns the Wicked. To me, it was a very attention grabbing. It was a great way to start the movie. Mm-hmm. Pretty much anybody that's seen the Wizard of Oz can kind of relate to that beginning scene. So you see the hat with the puddle of water, and then the announcement that she's been killed via a bucket of water thrown by a young girl. And then of course Glinda comes into the movie for the first time. Which, again, ties back to the Wizard of Oz. So I feel like everybody that has seen the Wizard of Oz is immediately able to relate to Wicked with the opening scene.
Yeah, I agree. The first shot that I noticed first is the four main characters, as you guys know them: Dorothy, Scarecrow, Toto, and Lion.
I love that part.
That part caught my eye at first.
Yeah.
And then, as I mentioned to Cassie earlier, this movie actually correlates with the Wizard of Oz a little bit and part of the Wicked Broadway, which is fantastic, I think. The hat at the beginning, that was before Broadway. It paid homage to before the Broadway show, which was fantastic because that was in, I think, the West End, which West End, if you guys don't know, West End is like the London Broadway kind of. And I think that was at the West End, which was fantastic because John Chu saw the Broadway show before it came to Broadway in New York. Or no, I think it was San Francisco is where he saw it at. But he saw it and he was like, let me put it into the movie, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
Personally, I love No One Mourns the Wicked. It's not my favorite, as you guys will know soon.
Yeah.
I think it was a good.
We can give our opinions on the song too. We don't have to rank them now.
I think it was a good song. However, it's not one of my favorites for reasons.
Yeah, I do like it as well. Mm-hmm. It's not the most, fun song, but it's an iconic song for the Wicked.
It's an iconic song for the Wicked franchise.
Yeah.
In the song, I'm just going to say this right now, in the bells of that song, it actually plays Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead from The Wizard of Oz, which is fun fact.
I did see that too.
I'm sprinkling fun facts into this one as we go by songs.
Yeah.
Each of them.
Good way to do it.
References. Okay. What's on the second? Oh no.
Oh, actually, I want to talk about the in between.
Yep.
So once the song is done, then you have I think the Munchkins, right? Talking to Glinda.
Yep.
And basically, they bring up, is it true that you knew the Wicked Witch?
Yep.
And then I like that you can kind of see in Glinda's face kind of you know, the emotion there, that it's not just, you know, woo, like, you know, the Wicked Witch is dead. You know, there's a lot more there for Glinda.
A lot more emotion.
Yeah.
I felt.
Yeah.
Not so much emotion.
Yeah, you could tell she was ready to get that whole thing over with and just kind of like move on from that.
Right. That was so important. Also, fun fact really quick, Glinda's bubble dress is, so if you guys did not hear recently, there was an interview by the person that made all the costumes actually, and he said he got the inspiration from Billy Burke's Glinda from The Wizard of Oz. So that's why it's kind of the same shape and color, because it's supposed to be reinterpretation of Billy Burke's Glinda.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because on Broadway, Glinda on Broadway has a blue dress, which was interesting. And now changed to pink. Yeah. Which I think it's good.
I feel like it's good. Like I said before, it helps the people that have only seen The Wizard of Oz relate to that Glinda immediately.
Right. And I think if you guys haven't seen the book or seen the Broadway show, you guys can understand it based on Wizard of Oz. Because Cassie and I kind of like know what Wicked's about, but not really. We know the songs, obviously. And if you guys do not know Wicked, you don't have to know it. I feel like when you're seeing it for the first time, because my mom has seen the Broadway show, and she even told me like, and she knows I haven't seen it, and she even told me like, you don't need to see the Broadway show to know the movie. And that's what my friends told me as well, because some of them haven't seen The Wizard of Oz, but they've seen the Broadway show of Wicked. So it's like confusing, but you don't have to guys know it to see what's coming up.
Yeah. And can we just shout out Ariana Grande's vocals in No One Mourns the Wicked? Like her high notes that she hits in that song is just incredible.
Yes. Her high notes kind of match Kristen Chenoweth's, I feel like, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Also, I love the bubble popping, like right there, and then like where the bubble like comes down, and then they ask like, "Is she really truly your best friend?" or something like that.
Yeah.
And then one of the most iconic parts is Elphaba's story. We meet Elphaba for the first time, baby Elphaba.
Yep.
That scene is incredible.
Yeah, I love it. And it's good to see the beginning of Elphaba, not just starting with her as, you know, a young.
Right. So really quick, was it her mom? I can't remember now. Dang it. How did I forget this? Oh, the Wicked movie title. I'm going to say this right now because it kind of takes place after No One Mourns the Wicked. It looks like the Wizard of Oz movie title. And Sound of Music. And Sound of Music movie title. That's something a lot of people noticed. And I didn't notice that till the second time I actually saw it. That it looks like Wizard of Oz. And I'm like, oh my God, that's right.
Yep. That was definitely intentional.
So they also built all the props. The 9 million poppies was huge for this movie. And you guys will know about poppies soon. Never mind. That's something else. Yeah, so that's something else I have. So it was a good movie for that part. Dulcie Bear.
Yeah.
One of the most underrated characters.
Yes, for sure.
Baby Nessa Rose is so cute. Baby Elphaba. I don't know who played Baby Elphaba, or I know who played Baby Nessa Rose, but I have no idea who played Baby Elphaba. But they were amazing.
Yeah, everybody in the movie, the entire movie, did a great job in their role.
Great casting in general. Like John too, fantastic.
Yeah.
I hope they win a Grammy for this movie or Oscar. I think honestly they could
win something for sure.
I think they're going to win best props because the whole movie set was built basically by hand, which was incredible.
Yeah.
Almost all of it was, I think all of it was basically hand built.
I can definitely see Cynthia winning.
Yeah, best actress.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I think honestly, they can't win any for best original song because there is no original songs from it. I think the next song that we have to discuss is Dear Old Sis.
Yeah. So it goes into the next scene where Glinda is basically telling them the story of how she knew Elphaba.
Oh yeah.
So we transfer back to both of their first day at Shiz University. And then it goes into the next song, which is called Dear Old Shiz.
Yep. So Dear Old Shiz, Glinda's mother actually was a former Elphaba in the West End, which is, like I said before, it's the London, UK, or it's the London Broadway show. I forgot her name now, but she played Elphaba, which was interesting. Because also some of the fun facts that you guys need to know is most of the ensemble members were former characters from Wicked in the past, the Broadway singers. So like former Elphabas, former Glindas, former Bucks, former Vieros, former Madame Marble as well, which is incredible.
Yep. Or former even just the background dancing and supporting cast.
Like for instance, the Red Beret from Matilda in live action, she was apparently in it too. And that just shows like people act together well like that. Alice Byrne is Glinda's mom, and she was a former Elphaba on British stage, which is incredible. And like I said, this is where we find out about the balloons, Elphaba and Elphaba and Nessarose, Dulcie Bear, in the balloons.
Yep.
That air balloon.
Yep.
It's incredible. This is when you guys find out kind of about the backstory of Wicked, Wizard of Oz. It's kind of incredible.
So what do you think about the song Dear Old Shiz?
I thought it was okay. I don't think it was needed necessarily.
I agree.
But it does start to show some of Elphaba's magic from the start.
It does kind of introduce Glinda being very popular, and you know, she's got everybody's attention, and everybody just kind of worships her in a way. So it's kind of the introduction to that.
Yeah, and one character is Keala Settle. She was the bearded woman in The Greatest Showman. She is Miss Cuddle in Wicked. She is the person that like takes Nessarose to her dorm, which in fact we never see Nessarose's dorm ever, which would have been interesting to see.
Point. Yeah.
Like differences between that, and we go right into The Wizard and I. Oh, and that's when we meet Dr. Diamond, who's portrayed by Peter Dinklage, who was the first only CGI character.
Yep.
In the movie. Well, one of the only CGI characters.
Yep.
Peter Dinklage, Dr. Diamond. Dr. Diamond was a great choice. That character, his voice was great.
Yeah, he was perfect. Like we said before, everybody was just perfect in their role. They couldn't have really done a better job with casting.
Right. And I know I'm taking this back in episode when we kind of predicted the Wizard of Oz casting. I told Cassie, can we put Jonathan Bailey as Scarecrow? Jonathan Bailey is perfect.
He is.
You guys can't get any other like Scarecrow.
Yeah, I completely agree. He just has the Scarecrow essence to him, so he's perfect.
He reminds me of like Ray Bolger too.
Yeah, a lot.
Like Ray Bolger, Michael Jackson, like that kind of vibe.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, The Wizard and I.
The Wizard and I love Cynthia's version.
I love Cynthia Erivo's version of The Wizard and I. I love the little Batman jump, as some people call it. The Batman jump. This is when we first meet Madame Marble singing as well.
Yep.
Cynthia Erivo as Elphaba. Fantastic.
Yeah.
We're saying fantastic because she is. I would not be surprised at all if she doesn't win a Grammy for the main actress at all.
She better win something. I don't know which one, but she better win something.
In The Wizard and I, some references to Wizard of Oz. Bluebirds. Bluebirds in the cornfield.
Yep.
A rainbow. Some people mentioned Somewhere Over the Rainbow. This kind of like feels like the same vibe as Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Yep.
And it's just interesting.
Or when she's like running out into the field and she says references like, you know, all of Oz will be on the street celebrating her, and then she'd be so happy she could melt. Like
like references to Wizard of Oz, which I think are in part 2, which is phenomenal, I think.
Yeah.
Some of this like pays homage to the Wizard of Oz, which I love personally. And yeah. It's one of It's not one of my. I love Cynthia Erivo's version of The Wizard and I. However, it's one of my top favorite songs. It's not like my top two, but
Yeah.
it's definitely up there. It's definitely up there. And I feel like it's different than the Broadway's version of.
It's a lot different. I feel like it's a little bit more modern.
That's what I love is like listening to the original Broadway's version with Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth versus Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. It's like some of my favorite moments of like watching them sing, for instance, Defying Gravity, of how much alike they are. It's so crazy.
Right.
Like, and something I looked up, and this is what I put in the notes, Cassie, is the vocal parts. Cynthia Erivo and Idina Menzel sing a similar part, which I thought was interesting. And yet they sound completely different. It's crazy.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, The Wizard and I love the underwater scene, like in the opening.
Yes.
Like, how did they do that? I'm assuming a drone. But,
yeah, something like that.
A GoPro or something. But that was incredible.
Right.
I think that building. After Wizard and I, is it Ozdust? No, wait, Dancing Through Life, isn't it?
Not yet. It's What Is This Feeling?
What is this feeling? Oh, I love that song. It was so good.
Yeah.
It's probably top 3, honestly. I love What Is This Feeling?
I just love every time.
I love the dancing in What Is This Feeling? Or Loathing, as some people call it. I love the dancing or
the whole cast doing like their coordinated stuff. Like, it's just incredible.
I'm trying to master that dance so hard. It looks easy, but it's hard.
Yeah. And I just love every time you have Cynthia and Ariana doing a duet together. Like, it's just, they kill it every time.
So, fun fact about this, and I didn't put this as a fun fact. Most of their singing was done live.
Yeah.
People don't know. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Their singing is incredible.
Yep. Top notch.
This is where this is not where we're supposed to meet Fanny and Shen.
No.
They were incredible too.
Yeah.
Wait, yes, this is. No, never mind. But What Is the Feeling is incredible. This is the moment where we first see the fight with the wand and the broom, which was incredible. If you guys know, what happens in Act 2 for that moment. It's incredible. What Is This Feeling is so great. I love how they made the songs longer than in the movie than Broadway.
Yeah.
And I just love that moment.
Yeah. It's just, like I said, I just love the chemistry that Ariana and Cynthia have together. So even the song where they're feuding is just, it's just fun. It's entertaining. Like, I just love it.
Agreed. After Loathing, I should look up the songs, but I don't.
It's technically Something Bad, but
wait, no, because isn't. Wait, is it?
Yeah.
Why was I thinking Ozdust?
Yeah, then it's Dancing Through Life.
Oh, after Something Bad?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something Bad is just kind of like, it's one of those little filler songs.
You need something bad, though, is the thing for the story, for part 2. Something Bad is okay. It's not one of my favorite songs.
No.
To me, Something Bad kind of gave me vibes of Zootopia. Like the missing animals.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I think it's incredible how they did that when Zootopia 2 comes out next year, along with Wicked Part 2.
The same day?
No, it's actually a week earlier. Wicked moved it up because it's the same thing with Moana 2 this year. And Wicked they moved it up because they thought a lot of people would want to see it. It's exactly what they did for Wicked Part 2 or Wicked Part 1 and Moana 2.
Yeah.
Exactly they moved it up because Wicked Part 1 broke Moana 2's movies records so far. I love it.
Yep.
And people already said this movie was a flop. No, it's not. No, there's no way.
Not even close.
No, not even close. Something Bad is okay. Like I said, it's not one of my favorite songs. It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not my favorite. It's not the worst song I've ever heard, but it's just there.
It's there. I don't like how most of it's CGI for the animals. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I wish some of them were like, I realized they couldn't do it, but I think it would have been cool. like for the people to like act and then like a green screen effect.
I agree. Yeah.
Like, oh, that would be so fun. Like they did for Chistory, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Like something like they did for Chistory, because we'll bring up what Chistory did. But yeah, something bad. This is when we meet Jonathan Bailey as Fiyero, right?
Yep.
With the lantern that Dr. Diamond, which is a goat, gives Elphaba. Yep. Jonathan Bailey as Fiyero. Oh, nothing more I can say about that.
He does a great job.
He does.
As everybody else does.
Yes, every person did a great job in this film. I would give them like, I'm going to give this a rating at the end for like part 1 alone.
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling we're both going to be the same number.
So, yeah. But yeah, I love when she meets him and then, you know, she kind of does that spiel of like, I didn't eat grass as a child. And then I love how his response is always like, you didn't, I did.
Yeah, I love that part.
Like, I just feel like he's like the first person that really like
understands her,
saw her for as like a
saw her as a person and not like a villain. Yeah,
like a freak show, basically.
Keep going. Something was just dropped off. Jonathan Bailey. So for those that do not know, Jonathan Bailey was in Bridgerton as Anthony. I looked up his character's name because I didn't know. His name was Anthony in Bridgerton. And that horse that he used for Bridgerton was actually Fiyero's horse. That was in Wicked.
Interesting.
Because Jonathan Bailey wanted it because Jonathan Bailey knows that horse well at the time.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Jonathan Bailey as Fiyero. That's all I'm going to say. Fantastic.
Yeah, so then we go into the next song, which he leads, which is Dancing Through Life. What do you think about that?
Life and Ozdust. It's kind of, well, no, Ozdust is a little bit later. Never mind. Dancing Through Life is such a fun song.
It is.
I loved it.
So fun.
Fun fact about Dancing Through Life, and I don't know if you knew this, actually. Jonathan Bailey was doing that all by himself. No stunt doubles, which I thought was amazing. And he did it all by himself. Like, all the flipping and all the everything.
Nice.
That wheel was also hand-built, which is interesting. Just all the flipping was incredible. Yeah. And all the dancing with his feet.
Yeah. Well, again, the entire cast.
Yeah, is incredible.
Is another really good one.
Yeah. This is another great one because this is where we see actually like Elphaba, Glinda, Bach, Nessa Rose.
Everybody
kind of together. Start kind of seeing Oz's Ballroom coming along.
Yep.
When Nessa or when Glinda when Bach, Ethan Slater, who actually Ariana Grande is dating in real life, which I think is funny. If you guys know what's coming up in part 2, you guys would know why it's kind of funny. Ethan Slater as Bach and Nessa Rose. Fun fact about Nessa Rose is what Cassie and I were just discussing. She is from Dane County, Wisconsin, which is fun in real life.
Yep. A fellow Wisconsinite.
I just had to say that right then and there. And so, what am I talking about?
So Dancing Through Life.
Yes.
And then they obviously go to Ozdust. And at this point, Elphaba and Glinda are still kind of butting heads.
Yeah.
Glinda kind of doesn't like her more than I feel like Elphaba does. So Glinda does the favor of getting Nessa Rose basically a date from Bach to Ozdust.
Yep.
So in return, Elphaba then helps her get into the sorcery class.
Gives Glinda the training wand, actually.
Yes. So then we're in Ozdust, and then probably one of the most pivotal scenes in the entire movie is
the Ozdust dancing.
The Ozdust dancing scene where Elphaba kind of does her solo dance. And then, you know, everybody's laughing at her, kind of making fun of her. And then Glinda steps forward and joins her, and then
everyone does it.
Yeah, it's the whole turnaround.
It's so fun how they do it.
And the scene where Elphaba starts crying, that apparently was not scripted.
Wait, what?
Well,
I
yeah,
didn't know that.
this is my fun fact. So I guess I did have a fun fact after all.
Yeah, I was like,
Apparently that was not scripted.
huh.
And so Ariana Grande was actually like genuinely like comforting her in that scene because it wasn't
Oh my
a
gosh.
scripted thing for her to cry that
Oh
first time she
no.
cries in that scene.
Oh, I didn't catch that part.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I need to see it a third time. Fine.
Yeah.
You talked me into it, maybe. Oh my god.
It's a good movie, so why not?
But I know. I'll say what's coming up in December because there's something actually special with Wicked in December that I actually just told James. Shout out to James again for third shout out in a row.
James.
Third shout out in a row, I think. And wait, James can't see this until he sees the movie. Never mind. I forgot about that.
Will he see the movie though?
Good point.
Probably not. You know he's gonna watch this.
I know. I told him not to though until he sees the movie. Will he listen to me? He better.
No, he won't.
He better. I know he won't. But will he? He better. Dancing Through Life and Ozfest is a great combination of songs.
Mm-hmm.
This is when we learned that Vero likes a certain Glinda. Yeah. I'm not gonna spoil anything. Try not to.
We're not gonna get into anything.
It's so hard. Really quick, we forgot an important scene with Dr. Delman, the poppies.
Oh yes.
When we found out Dr. Delman loves poppies.
Yes.
I'm gonna say. And Alphaba also does magic with the poppies.
Not yet.
Oh, wait, never mind. Okay. What?
All right. So after Dancing Through Life, now Glinda and Elphaba are friends. So Elphaba or Glinda decides that she's going to essentially help Elphaba become more popular at Shiz. So it comes into the next song, which is
Popular.
titled Popular.
Yes.
What's your thoughts on Popular?
It was okay. It was more than okay. I think it is better than Kristen Shannon was popular. I'm going to say that now. A lot of people disagree with me. I was not really excited.
That is a hot take for sure.
I was not excited for Popular. I kind of was to see how they were going to do it because I actually saw this movie in two different experiences, one in 3D and one in 2D. So it's a little bit different for me. And I can kind of talk about the differences at the end, like the difference between the two, because there's really not really a big difference, but there is.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. The 3 clicks of the heels in Popular with the shoes. That's what made me cry the first time.
Yeah.
Is when I saw that moment. That moment is when I teared up the first time. I didn't cry actual tears. I teared up. And I will say that. The 3 heels. The 3 clicks of the ruby red heels made me tear up.
The only time I cried in the movie was at the Ozfest, actually.
Really? Yeah. Okay. So speaking of Ozfest, For Good, you can hear the little piano with the chickens. For Good starts to play. And if you guys know about For Good, it's in part 2.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next year.
Yes, next.
Before Mary spoils anything further.
I'm not actually. Thank you very much. I wasn't trying to. Anyways, Popular.
I loved Popular. Like I feel like it's a fun song.
It is a fun song.
But Ariana Grande as Glinda is hilarious. So it's just a fun scene to watch. It's a fun song to hear her sing. She kills it vocally. She kills it.
The dance.
I will say that I was surprised at how well Ariana Grande did acting. So I'm looking forward to seeing her.
I think part of the reason why people are so surprised about Ariana Grande's acting is because she was on Broadway before she ever did shows and movies.
Yeah.
She was in Hairspray Live. I know that was after her Nickelodeon days. She was also on Nickelodeon. So I feel like that's why this is another big hit is because Ariana Grande, she was in Nickelodeon back in the day. Yeah. So I feel like a lot of kids are knowing Ariana Grande because of Victorious back in the day, Sam and Cat back in the day. Right. And I think that's why a lot of people think that's why a lot of kids are actually liking Wicked now. Which
there's definitely a lot of Ariana Grande fans.
Yeah, and Cynthia Erivo. Yeah, for me too. There was a lot of older people the first showing, and then a lot more people our age for the second showing for me. I don't know if that was the same for you.
It was the opposite for me. The first showing was all younger people dressed in pink tutus, and we had two girls that were dressed both as Elphaba and Glinda. Just a lot of dressing up the first showing, and then the second showing was, I felt like the older people that had heard it's a good movie, so they're like, all right, let me go.
Yeah.
It's all about.
But it's just an incredible movie. I really loved this, and that's not my rating. Wahaha.
Okay. All right, so after Popular, then we have the Poppy scene.
Oh, my bad. Apparently, I don't know this movie as much as I thought. The Poppy scene is fantastic.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
And it leads into Elphaba and Fyro having their alone time in the woods, basically, and getting to know each other a little bit more. And it's kind of the first glance that we see that they like each other, which then leads into the next song, which is
I'm Not That Girl. I love Cynthia Erivo's version of I'm Not That Girl.
Yeah.
Her emotion was so good for I'm Not That Girl. Cynthia Erivo is perfect for Elphaba. I know we're saying this a lot, but they actually were perfect. I don't know how you could ever touch.
You know that I love Idina Menzel. Like I'm Idina Menzel stan.
I know.
But I will say that I do prefer Cynthia's version of I'm Not That Girl.
Oh, interesting.
Idina Menzel's version of I'm Not That Girl.
Okay.
And I guess we're getting ahead of ourselves here. Idina Menzel is the original Elphaba.
And Kristen Chenoweth is also the original Glinda.
Yes. So if you looked up the Wicked soundtrack before this movie came out, that's the versions that you would have heard before is Idina and Kristen singing.
Yep. Okay.
What do you think about I'm Not That Girl?
I thought it was okay. I did prefer it rather than Idina's. I'm Not That Girl.
Yeah.
Cynthia's emotion is incredible. I loved all the scenery too. Like all the nature.
Yeah.
It like surrounded her character very, very well.
Yeah.
Because I actually read the book too. So this kind of ties in the book. So the book kind of takes place in nature as well. We didn't mention this, but the time of the clock dragon at the beginning of the movie is important to the book. I'm not going to say why if you guys haven't read the book. I would say if you guys haven't read the book, unless if you're like older, don't read it. That's how I'm like going to say it. I'm only laughing because I know what's in it. So I'm going to give it like a PG rating of the book.
A PG?
Like,
I feel like it's probably higher than that.
No, I would say like PG-13. I would say like PG-13, actually.
Okay.
Like kind of like the movie. I would rate it the same as the movie, kind of.
Yeah, that's not that bad then.
No, but you just have to be more mature, is my point, to read it. Like, I think 13-year-olds could read it. I don't know if 13-year-olds could read it because they have to be more mature, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like, I would say definitely not 10. I would say like 12 maybe and up. I don't know. I would let your parent, like if there's younger kids reading it or watching this episode, I would say let your parents read it before. And then they can decide. Because I'm not going to decide for you guys, obviously. Right. But yeah.
All right, so after I'm Not That Girl, we find out that Elphaba has been invited to meet the wizard in the Emerald City. So then we kind of go into that. So there's a whole train scene kind of where they're saying goodbye.
The train.
You know, Elphaba and Fyro kind of have this, obvious connection. And then so Glinda kind of, is looking at them and she decides she needs to, make another big scene. So this is where she decides that in honor of Dr. Dilliman, she is officially going to change her name from Galinda to Glinda. So anything you want to add?
No.
Before we go to One Short Day?
No.
So Glinda decides to go with Elphaba to the Emerald City.
Right. Well, because really quick, before you get there, Glinda basically told Elphaba to hop on the train, as Cassie said. There was a real life train in the movie, which a lot of people don't realize that was actually real. that was a real train that they made for Wicked, which is a fun fact.
Yeah.
And Elphaba hopped on the train, and as the train was going away, Elphaba was like, Glinda, why don't you come with me? So she did.
Yep. So it's Glinda and Elphaba on their way to the Emerald City. And that's when the next song starts playing, which is One Short Day.
One Short Day. Oh, One Short Day is one of my favorite songs. I think I prefer One Short Day, like this One Short Day before the Wicked version.
I agree with that too.
One Short Day is so incredible. This is when we first get introduced to the Grimmery, which is an important book.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved the show that they did. Like, do you want to talk about that?
The what?
The show, the little show.
Yeah, so they do like a show to basically describe the history of the wizard and the Emerald City. And that's when we have our special guests of the movie come out, looking very elegant, I must say.
Mm-hmm.
So, like we mentioned earlier, Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth, they were the original Elphaba and Glinda. So they come out and they kind of are like the leads of this show, telling the story of Oz and the Wizard.
I love how they did that.
Yeah.
I love how they paid homage to the original Wicked cast too.
Yeah.
Because as someone pointed out to me, actually, in No One Mourns the Wicked, the original Nessa Rose was in that cast too, actually.
Oh, nice.
Which a lot of people don't know. And one of them that I noticed that I told you about actually is Stephen Schwartz, who, like I said, wrote the music for Wicked, is actually the one that says the wizard will see you now.
Oh, really?
Yep, that's him in the book. That's the voice. Or no, he's on top of the bell tower.
Yeah.
And the book voice is actually Gregory Maguire, which wrote Wicked the novel. So that's paying homage to the book. Because he's like reading out of a book.
Yeah.
And like I told you guys, Winnie Holtzman is actually in the audience as well. Like watching the show or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I love how we found out that it was Kristen and Idina by Idina's high-pitched Defying Gravity scene.
Yeah.
That's when I knew it was them beforehand because we knew Kristen Chenoweth was in it somewhere. A lot of people didn't know where. Because I heard like Ozdust, like an Ozdust Fest maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out they were both in One Short Day.
Yep.
And it actually turns out really quick that Stephen Schwartz said, because Ariana's popular, the ending 3 notes, I think he said, is actually going to be in the Broadway show now, which is interesting.
Nice.
They're changing up the Broadway show because of the movie.
Yeah, that's cool.
And this is when we first learned about the Grimmery.
Yes.
The show's point is the Grimmery, which is Gregory Maguire, which is the one.
The next scene?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, you can introduce it.
Would it be, what's next?
Meeting the Wizard.
Meeting the Wizard. Jeff Goldblum as the Wizard in Chistory.
Mm-hmm.
Chistory is kind of cute.
He is cute.
However, it kind of gets scary.
Yeah.
In the second showing, I actually heard a lot of kids screaming.
Really?
Because, well, I'll get into it before Defying Gravity, like that scene.
Yeah.
Chistory and Jeff Goldblum are amazing. Jeff Goldblum as the Wizard is fantastic. The guards. We found out Madame Morrible as actually the weather professor. And Madame Morrible is actually in the Wizard Chambers, as we learned. And I think that was incredible because that's how we know. Madame Morrible is the one that invited Elphaba and Glinda technically to the Emerald City.
Yeah.
Which I thought is interesting because you don't really know that until that scene. Technically, right. That was her that actually invited them instead of.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. And another thing to note is the paper with the Emerald City, the invitation.
Yeah.
It actually says the Wonderful Wizard of Oz on the envelope.
Oh yeah, it does.
Which I thought was interesting because if you guys do not know, that's the name of the Wizard of Oz. And also one thing that we noticed during Dancing Through Life, Fiora was dancing on the Wizard of Oz book from L. Frank Baum, which was interesting.
So the scene with the wizard is probably contains my least favorite song.
Yeah, I agree. I
Sentimental
totally agree. A Sentimental Man.
Yeah.
I think it was important for history-wise,
Yeah.
but I agree. No. I
It's just
didn't. I
whatever.
did not really like Sentimental Man. I agree.
If they cut it from the movie, I wouldn't be sad.
I
But
mean, it
I
needs
get
to.
why it's there.
I get why it's in there. But I
If
agree.
it wasn't there, I wouldn't care, basically.
No, but you kind of need it to tell the story. I feel like.
Yeah.
Because if you guys did not know, it basically tells the story of the Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we found out about the Yellow Brick Road.
Yes.
And I love that little sculpture. Oh, also, this is when we get to learn the phrase, everyone deserves the chance to fly. Like that phrase is the first time we hear it.
Yep. Iconic.
I just thought of that. Yes, indeed, iconic. Which I think is funny because, well, I'll talk about it at the end of Defying Gravity, which technically.
Do you want to kind of go into what happens next?
Sure. Are you talking about the monkeys?
Yeah, kind of leading into.
So Alpha, yep, I can do it. So Elphaba reads the Grimoire, as we mentioned in One Short Day. This is when the Grimoire comes into play because no one can read it besides Elphaba. And Elphaba, so basically Chistry wants to become a bird, or birds are involved with Chistry. I can't remember why. Elphaba turned Chistry into a bird.
Did we clear up that Chistry is the monkey guard?
Monkey.
There's a whole fleet of monkey guards.
The main flying monkey guard that we meet is with the wizard is Chistry. And we learned that you can't reverse spells in Wicked. This is when we first learned this. It comes into more in play in part 2, obviously, but it does a lot in part 1 because the monkeys turned to birds, and this is when they became flying monkeys for the first time, and they actually fly. It's so good. This is when when they go down the hallway, basically after Sentimental Man, they go down a hallway. Elphaba and Glinda go down a hallway, and the wizard's like, capture her. Madame Morrible's like, capture her, and then Madame Morrible makes a speech. And then this is when I heard kids screaming, is when Elphaba and Glinda were running down the hallway, and this is when you guys hear Miss Gulch's iconic theme song from The Wizard of Oz with the bike. This is when you guys hear that iconic song in the background. Yep.
Well, we have to mention the scene where they're standing there and she's giving the speech to all of Oz. Yes. And she says, finally, she calls her a wicked witch.
Yes, I did not mention that. Yep, good point. So yeah, you're
right. On Elphaba's face that's hurtful to her. Like, can't believe that she was just painted as wicked.
Witch. Yeah, because
you can see that emotion on her face that really hurt her. That
this is the first time that we hear wicked witch for the first time in the movie, which is a funny moment, technically. It definitely has a lot of foreshadowing to the part 2, which I love. Yeah.
So we won't bore you with all the details because you should see the movie yourself. But so things happen, and then we get into
Defying Gravity.
The most iconic song of the Wicked.
The Wicked franchise, I would say. No, I would say like For Good and No Good Deed for sure. Or
I think Defying Gravity is it.
No, yeah.
Those ones are also iconic, but I feel like Defying Gravity is like
Defying Gravity is the most iconic. I agree. So we find out this is another chance that basically Elphaba says everyone deserves the chance to fly. And it's one of the most iconic lines in this movie. You could say otherwise. I feel like it's the most iconic line.
Yep.
Because it says a lot to the characters as we know them today.
Yes. And Elphaba, she does, she reads from the Grimoire again to give herself the ability
to fly. See, I was curious how the broom, because if you guys do not know, the broom, she flies on a broomstick.
Yeah, I think the broom has the ability to fly, not her.
No, I know, but I was curious how the broom would get up to her.
Oh, yeah.
When the movie was going, I was like, I saw the broom, and I was wondering about the cape too, and you find out who gives her the cape. It turns out Glinda gives her the cape.
Yep.
That's not really a spoiler, but I was curious how they would get up the broom to Alphaba and then they use a spell, which was amazing.
Yep.
It like shows a lot of spell work.
Yep.
And then we end off with Defying Gravity for part 1. Defying Gravity was so good. I loved how they did it in unison, which is singing together. And I just love Defying
The
Gravity.
whole scene with Defying Gravity is just so powerful. Like, people in my showings were left in tears
Okay.
after that scene.
See,
Including my mom, who could not leave the theater right away because she needed like a second to kind of like regather herself. Like, and I saw that several times in both showings that I went to. Was just people were just brought to tears over the energy and the message of that song.
Mm-hmm. During my second showing, everyone, like when Popular started, like the Pop-ular, like the pop, first pop, people were singing along, and I'm like, guys, no. I understand why they were singing along.
Yeah.
But if you guys haven't seen it, please don't sing along. It kind of takes out the thrill of the movie.
Yeah.
Do you want anything else to say? And then I'll like head off. Fun facts. I had the
fun facts.
I had the songs pulled up. I'm like to see if we missed anything. Cameos. No One Mourns the Wicked. Glinda's mom. Oh, Glinda, but the poppy is. You told me not to do that. You told me not to do that.
No spoilers for part 2.
No, I skipped all the spoilers. That's all I did. That's a spoiler. Wicked officially becomes the highest grossing musical adaptation of all times at the domestic box office, surpassing the iconic movie Grease. Which, if you guys did not know, Grease is an iconic musical.
Which is actually truly crazy that Grease has held that for so long. Like,
for 50 years.
That's incredible in itself.
Right, that's crazy. 50 years, it broke it finally.
And it just shows you how well Wicked has been doing to beat Grease after 50 years of no one else being able to do it.
So I was actually talking to some of the theater people at my second showing theater to see if like Wicked was their best showing movie, and they said yes, behind Moana 2 slightly. So that says a lot. And Moana 2 got a lot of hype right away.
Disney, so.
Well, true, but Disney got a lot of hate recently though for Muppets stuff though.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised, but I do think Wicked is going to get a lot of Oscar nominations, and it's finally kind of officially out. And yeah, that's all the fun facts. Oh, wait, Mary, silver shoes. How did I forget about that one fun fact? The silver shoes, as I guys told you guys about in the Wizard of Oz episode, the silver shoes are important because in L. Frank Baum's book, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, it mentions Dorothy's silver shoes. They were not ruby, like the Wizard of Oz tells us. They were actually silver, which I love how the Wiz does that. It's the silver shoes. And Nessa Rose wears silver shoes.
Yep.
It's iconic. I think we should tell them Elphaba's breakdown of the name, like I just told you.
Yeah, go for it.
So, if you guys did not know, L. Frank Baum wrote The Wonderful Wizard of Oz as we know it today. So it's actually, Elphaba's name means L, like, here. Like, that's spelled differently, whatever. Like, it's L, like the letter L, and then L for the, I don't know if we're going to do this on audio only, so that's on, like, you know what I mean? I'm, like, explaining it. And then Frank is Fa, and then Baum is Ba, so Elphaba, which is interesting.
Yeah. Well, even just saying L. Frank Baum, like it's almost like you're saying
Elphaba or Fabula, as the book says. Really quick, I'm gonna show them what I got, kind of, because it's kind of important.
Yeah.
So I got this Wicked popcorn bucket here, with just the Defying Gravity scene, which isn't kind of cool. Or no, it's the One Short Day, and it's Ariana and Glinda. And then it's them singing Defying Gravity, like in holding hands.
Yeah, that's such a cool popcorn bucket.
W.
I'm jealous.
And then the Oz logo. And it lights up green like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
I know you guys can't see the green, but it's bright. So the deal at my theater was if you guys if we get this and a large popcorn, which a large popcorn was $39. This was like $34 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it was worth the deal.
Yeah.
So this was part of my mom's Christmas gift to me, actually, is this popcorn bucket.
Nice.
And then we got a large popcorn with it, which was $5 along with the popcorn bucket. So I was like, that's a steal. And then as I told Cassie, as I mentioned, everyone deserves a chance to fly is a main important lyric or quote, I guess you would say. So I got Cassie this pin, as she knows now. And it says, everyone deserves the chance to fly. And it's Elphaba.
Love it.
This was $3 to charity because Wicked does a lot to charity.
Yeah.
Speaking of Wicked and charities, Nessa Rose was the first ever physically abled Nessa Rose ever to play the part. Marissa Boney was the first ever Nessa Rose physically able to play the part of Nessa Rose.
Yeah, I love how they did that.
Crazy that they would do that. Yeah, it's
about time to start casting
more disabled. Yeah,
disabled parts.
And I think that was a huge part of this movie is basically saying it's okay to cast disabled people.
Right.
Like, don't be afraid to cast disabled people. It's okay.
Right. What's the point in casting a physically able person?
Right. Do you want to go through ratings really quick of the movie? Because I realized we didn't do that.
Yeah, for me, it's a 10 for sure.
What?
For me, it's a 10.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how they do part 2.
I can't wait. Like, a year can't come soon enough.
I hate how we have to wait a year. I hate how we have to wait a year, but it is what it is. For me, I agree. I would rate it a 10 out of 10. It was fantastic. I would definitely see it again. Speaking of which, I'm just going to announce like final thoughts right now.
Mm-hmm.
Wicked decided that they are going to do a sing-along version of this movie for Christmas. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Where we can actually finally, if you guys want to sing in the theaters, this would be your chance to do it. And James actually just told me Lion King is coming back in theaters.
Are you sure he's not talking about Mufasa?
No, it's getting ready for Mufasa, apparently. Okay. Which I don't know why, because Mufasa's before. So like it's like Wicked and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, so for both my showings, I don't know if they showed you guys Mufasa too, but it looks so good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward
to it. Mufasa one? Did you guys see Mufasa before your movie?
I didn't.
No? Wow. So before my showing, both of them, they showed the trailer of Mufasa. And it was so incredible. Yeah, I loved it. Do we want to talk about what movies we have coming up on this?
Sure.
I think we have the main one is The Grinch. We're going to be discussing Jim Carrey's Grinch in like 2 weeks.
Yep.
At this point, it's going to be 2 weeks. Where can everyone find you? I know where.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Cheeseheadcast. That's the best place to find me.
And Blue Sky. I forgot about Blue Sky.
And Blue Sky. But I still have not used Blue Sky, so right now the best place is Twitter.
Also, you can find her on Mac and Cheese as well.
Yes.
Forget about that. So for me, how do I not have my name in the bio for once? Wow. I'm surprised by that. I forgot I took it off when I was recording the thank you notes. Because that was just annoying. So I do not have our Twitter. That's what's different, is because I forgot I took that off. So for this, you guys can find me on obviously Midnight Disney. Do I even know the show anymore? No. Midnight Disney, Midwestern Chaos, Mac and Cheese. I'm not going to say the personal channel because I don't really use that a lot. And you guys can find me on Mary90118710 on Twitter and Blue Sky. And just to let you guys know, if you guys want to reach out to Cassie or I, please just reach out to the Mac and Cheese Twitter at this point, or Mac and Cheese Blue Sky. One of us will answer there. It's Mac Podcast 2023. And we will see you guys all soon.
Yep.
Is there anything else?
I'm good.
Also, really quick, I'm going to play the outro because we do have an intro for the show. I didn't play it at the beginning because we didn't get to that moment. So if you guys do not know, pink goes well with green. Pink goes good with green, and then pink goes well with green. So I kind of made the outro to represent Wicked. with.
All right, let's see it.
And that's why we are unveiling it now for you guys. How do I not have it up? Oh! I got it, I think.
MIDNIGHT, this nerd, Disney nerd. MIDNIGHT.